So Ben, we just had that fantastic session with a group of managing partners, leaders from very different law firms.
I think I was the smallest. I think about 28 heads.
I think you might have been actually, yeah.
And ranging up to, I think we had firms there, but 600 members, multinational firms as well. So yeah,
real spectrum, but some common themes I thought that came out.
I think there are some common themes. I think adoption is one of them.
Yeah.
Adoption of AI in law firms, and then also the client expectations. With firms like my firm are high street, where there's very little client expectation. Whereas when you look at some of the larger firms with corporate clients, particularly those who have got own internalized AI policies, they've got real demands on them as a law firm to, in many ways, catch up with where the client already is.
Yeah, it was interesting as well because one or two people in the session referenced earlier sessions, which is great, always good to see at a conference, and they were using, Tara Walsh from Osborne Clarke had done that kind of AI maturity map, where she'd gone, your clients could be anywhere from here, curious, to here, kind of on, what was it? Transformative in AI, and that was reflected in the managing partner conversation, where people were going, most of my clients are not even maybe curious or down there. But some of the bigger B2B firms were saying, no, my clients are at transformative, and they're looking at us.
Indeed, and transformative to the point, they're saying, why aren't you using this piece of software? Why aren't you using this technology? Why can we not interact with you through this medium? Whereas, clients like mine on the high street, some aren't even curious. They just want to come in and write a will or sort a power of attorney or just buy or sell a house. But I think one of the points I made, actually, the demands of all clients is going to be speed, delivery of service, and trust the service. And I think, technology is part of that narrative, and whatever size firm you're in. Technology can deliver speed and those efficiencies, but it depends in whose hands. Is it in the hands? The other thing that's come out today is it's not just the lawyers, it's the HR teams, it's the customer success teams, and where AI now is, in fact, dare I say it, in the management of law firms as well, about the oversight, the supervision, the risk. But those themes are coming through.
Yeah, I thought that was good. Yeah, the HR, we could talk forever about that HR piece. I really love that point about you've got HR people, and not every firm has, and they need to know this stuff inside out, because that's the future of, I guess, resourcing and skills. Well, what are the humans going to do? Which you riffed on that quite a lot.
I do.
Let's think about
it's
what
the whole,
lawyers do and what they want.
What's the value in a lawyer?
Yeah.
On the high street, we need lawyers to supervise and manage risk and provide accountability to our clients and to transactions and to government departments. But so much of what we hear from the AI narrative, particularly out of Silicon Valley, is around this piece on how it's going to replace lawyers, and we talk a lot about generating documents and reviewing documents, and of course AI can do that incredibly efficiently and with unbelievable speed and more reliability. But that's only a small piece of the work we do. And the point I was making today was, we a lot of my clients like the digital speed, but they still want the personal interaction, the personal relationship with a lawyer. That would be very different from a lady in Dartmouth wanting to write a will to a CEO of a big multinational company. And the other thing I thought, and who do we want in charge of this? I mean, I think Mel was sat with me and gave an analogy of the lady an anecdote, the lady he sat on the plane with, who he happened to, I think, scare witless.
Yes.
And say, that, these planes can fly themselves. And I followed up with that, and I said, but I still want the pilot in the cockpit when the plane can't fly itself. And likewise, I don't want my teenage kids monitoring the AI in my law firm. I want my lawyers monitoring the AI and monitoring, all the technology and the clients and the interaction, the accounts. And that's, and it's where that fit is. And I also think that the fit is not the same in every law firm or in every work type either.
I think and you responded to it really, really well and took it a bit further. But Mel Kang's an anecdote about the lady and the airplane. I think that's the point you raised on it was, they can fly themselves. AI can do a huge amount of the legal work and the research and the document creation, but people rely and trust lawyers and law firms because there is a lawyer in the mix. They need some of that reassurance and oversight. And I think that's quite a good enough. I think that'll stick in people's brains. The other thing that kind of at different end of the scale in a way. Steve McGuigan from VWV said he was talking about almost the shift they've seen in the firm since Christmas. He said Christmas 2025, and he's clearly somebody who's really thinking about the impact of AI and how it's shifting all the time. So he's calling it that the end of 2025 will turn out to be a more significant moment in shifting how we use technology and AI in particular than the arrival of ChatGPT. And it's fascinating when you then talk to a few people in the room about that, who go, what happened? What happened in Christmas 2025? We've barely absorbed ChatGPT and the fact that generative AI has arrived, and it does start to show, doesn't it, that it's not two-tier, but some lawyers and some firms are having to, or are doing very well at, really trying to keep up with this stuff.
But if I talk about the English legal system alone, we've been two-tier for a long time. If you use the American analogy, we have been, you look at the big law accounts, 50, 60% probably of all legal revenue in England and Wales.
Yeah.
But then we still do have something like 10,000 other law firms who are on the high street, and they're going to be less impacted. But I think, but the impact for them on the high street, firms like mine, are going to be very different. They are going to be, people just wanting a simple question to a simple answer. They're asking an AI agent or a ChatGPT or whoever to answer a simple question about their tenancy agreement. They would normally walk through the front door of my office. And this is the other point I was making, is that lawyers need to remember that I've said this before. We have the keys to this kingdom. We have the expertise, the trust, and if we've got to find a different way to deliver that to our clients, whether it is a retiree in South Devon or whether it is a CEO, those clients' demands were different before AI, and those client demands are different now. Yeah. But it's interesting. I think there's a lot more consumer weight coming into that argument about how we deliver and what people expect from legal services and how it's delivered.
Yeah, and I think you will appreciate this, and you said it on the stage, that you're somebody who's running a high street law firm with a lot of quite traditional clients, but also running a legal tech company with a product. So you get this. What we can't allow to happen, and I think that's come out very strongly today, is lawyers and law firms that are more traditional, that perhaps haven't got clients pushing them hard, saying, well, it's okay then. I heard from Ben, and I heard from Chris, and I heard from Mel that it's good. We need the pilot in the plane, so I don't have to worry about this stuff. I don't have to think about, well, what did happen in Christmas 2025? Actually, you do need to do that, because complacency, this is not an argument for complacency, it's an argument for reinventing yourself as to do those things that people need a person to do even better than you've ever done before. And if you don't do that, you will get left behind.
But then this is my challenge to BBLT and people like yourself, is how do we bring those firms forward? Because the truth is, they will say, right, no, I've researched, I will see what happened in December 2025 and the following months. I saw what happened last night. You decide, you spend many months procuring and looking and researching and say, well, I'm backing this horse, this is what's right for my firm. And those sands shift next week, because that will then not be the de rigueur platform for next week. It may not suit. And of course, you've backed all this time and money and effort into changing internalized processes and training, and it moves again. And it's very, very difficult. And this is my landscape piece.
We've got to help people. We've got to help people with that, haven't we? And there are no easy answers, but hopefully we'll get a few more this afternoon.
Yep. Well, afternoon ahead of us, so
brilliant.
Look forward to it.
Thank you. Speak soon.
Thank you.